Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 247 of Optimal Living Advice, the podcast where we take any questions you might have about the many struggles of life and get them answered for you here on the show. I am your host, certified life coach Greg Audino, reminding you before we begin that if you have a question you would like help with on the show, we welcome you to email it to us at advice@oldpodcast.com. And today's question is a long one, but a really important and well-informed one too. As you will hear, the asker is really aware of her troubled history and the role that it's playing in her romantic relationship. But now what? Are her traumas, as well as her partner's traumas, preventing them from having a healthy relationship? Do they need other people, or are they doing a good job of working through their troubles together? Well, let's see if we can find some answers. Again, it's a longer question, so do listen closely. Here it is. I am an avoidant who grew up with a mother who depended on alcohol to soothe her emotions. Having an opinion was not an option. I learned quickly how to emotionally support others and discard my own emotions. I didn't learn how to support myself in emotional situations or have healthy boundaries. I currently find myself in a relationship that challenges me to develop these skills. When I share my feelings, as uncomfortable as it is, he often reacts out of his own insecurities. He is definitely a lot better at understanding his why and apologizes and explains his reaction. It takes me longer, and I get confused along the way. If I am overreacting, underreacting, and unclear if this is healthy. I often walk away from the conversation feeling uncomfortable and like I shouldn't have even said anything. I have trouble really letting go of these heated conversations. I am left feeling triggered and concerned about whether I should even say anything the next time. I also feel like I start to downplay my feelings just to stop the argument and stop the discomfort. I understand couples fight, and that in relationships you learn a lot about yourself and you work through a lot of obstacles and challenges. When do you know when you're really doing the work on your personal growth alongside your partner versus when you're just wasting your time and that you're with the wrong person? Am I spinning my wheels, or am I just stuck in my own head? Okay, really good question, asker, and thanks so much for sharing that bit about your past. It helps me, and honestly, it helps you a lot too. It is awesome that you understand your history and how it's contributed to how you approach your relationships now. I think the parallels are obvious enough that I don't really need to elaborate on them too much, but to quickly summarize, so if your mother, your main source of love who you relied on, required you to detach emotionally and not support yourself in order to get even remotely on her good side, then your instinct will be to bring that same approach to those who you seek love from as an adult. If you say something about how you feel that's challenging, love isn't shown. If you don't downplay your feelings and avoid the argument, love isn't shown. That's a hard cycle to break when that's the system of love that you had to buy into as a child. And though it can be hard to know what to do with that information in terms of healing, at the very least, understanding how your past is affecting your present, it does give you self-awareness. And it makes it easier to be vigilant. And theoretically, it should give you an avenue to forgive yourself, while at the same time not seeing yourself as a victim who shouldn't be working on healing. It's terrible that this avoidance is what you've been molded into, and it is not your fault, but it is the card that you've been dealt, and it is your responsibility now to recover from it if you expect to have functional relationships as an adult. I don't blame you for feeling bad for yourself about this. I don't. But it isn't going anywhere, and the past can't be erased even if you are feeling bad for yourself. So eventually, it's going to be time to work on it. And it seems like you're starting to by submitting this question, which is great news. Now, we both know that I can't say if this current partner is the right partner for you. I don't know enough about him, and I would be lying if I said I know where that line is between two people healing together and two people not being good for one another and being better off separating and working on themselves so that they can bring a more complete version of themselves to their relationships. This is something I struggle mightily with myself, especially lately, but what I can do is give you ideas of what to look out for and how to differentiate your partner's behavior from your mother's, which is essential. The fact that he apologizes and explains his reaction is good. If he's willing to try, that's even better. And when I say try, I mean trying within the relationship and also making an effort to heal his own past troubles outside of the relationship, perhaps with a therapist. Trying is an act of love, okay? And acts of love are nearly as important, maybe equally important, as being in love. It's putting in the work for your partner, even when you don't feel like it. So, while the apology itself is a good start, it kind of falls on its face if there's no commitment to actually change, and if it's limited to only words rather than trying. If an effort to change isn't there, the apology is lacking. So change would be anything from maybe going to therapy himself, like I said, to something smaller in day-to-day, like giving you another chance to express yourself and him being committed to listening after he initially reacts poorly. If he's supportive of you in your own struggle, rather than shaming you and not playing the victim card himself, this is good. The only exception would be if he himself is not setting good boundaries, like allowing you to be non-communicative as much as you want, without at least occasionally holding you accountable to trying to open up. Again, there's that word trying. Regardless of your past trauma, everyone wants a partner that's willing to try and put in the work. Compromise is important, so this should not be a one-way street, regardless of what you've been through. But good relationships are relationships in which couples keep working to support one another in new ways and show up for their partners as their needs shift. Yes, this has to be done within reason, which is why I mentioned the importance of trying to cultivate those good boundaries. But the effort and the intention have to be there. While this is important, it's certainly not all that makes for a relationship worth staying in. The effort is magical and it's charming, but it's not everything. Other variables may not make a relationship worth it. But the thing is, neither partner can ever say they gave it their best shot without this initial effort. In your case, you'll probably need someone who's extra patient with you, and you need to be patient with them. When they overreact, when you share something personal, they have to apologize and come back as a better listener next time. You need to accept this overreaction and applaud their willingness to come back better. And this patience and willingness to see them through their effort to improve, that's your own form of improvement and getting present within your relationships, not equating everything to what happened in your childhood. You say he has his own insecurities which cause him to overreact sometimes. Okay, you have to understand those just as much as he has to understand your history. Maybe it'll be too much to wade through over time. I don't know. But if one or neither of you are not willing to at least try to do that right now, and are instead stuck in your own heads trying to solve your own problems and not willing to leave that space, then it either isn't the right time or it isn't the right relationship. I will say this just to end. I'll give you a brief exercise. Consider asking your partner if they'd be willing for both of you to write down a list of needs that you each have. Write down maybe 3 things that you need one another to do to feel more heard in these types of arguments and hold one another accountable to trying towards these things. It would be a nice way to get out of your head and put to paper exactly what you're wanting, as well as create goals and structure surrounding the idea of change. It'll be very objective and easy to witness displays of effort, and being able to witness that so clearly could really open things up for you. Thanks a lot to the asker for sending in such an important question today. I hope it helped, and I hope it encouraged everyone out there to at least put in the effort. You never want to be in or leave a relationship in which you felt you could have done more. So if you can become aware of your boundaries and put forth as much effort as you can for your partner without those boundaries being crossed, what more can there be? Get out of here, everyone. Go do something nice for your loved ones. Let them know your love hasn't stagnated and that you're still there and willing to do what it takes for them, because it's time to get out of here. I will be back with you with the next episode, though, and I really hope you will join. Until then, everyone,